Happy Wednesday. Got another day. We're going to talk about some more on-market subdivides. I got John with me, Leah member. We're going to go through this. We want to kind of look at some more of these subdivides and actually call some more. I know I did a video like 2 weeks ago, and I've had a slew of people sending. I probably got like 40 people who sent me deals. But I wanted to go over some of them today and kind of touch base on this a little bit more. And we'll deep dive more into this stuff. And I really want to partner with more people on this. I actually have to get the team set up for this because I didn't expect, so many deals getting thrown my way. But either way, well, let's look at this again today. And, this will be forever. Anybody can send me deals and work with me anytime. So we'll bring our lenders and all that jazz. So I want to talk about the mastermind. I know it's coming up, like we're in it next week. Well, not this weekend, the following weekend. So if you guys aren't going, you got to come. I mean, it's going to be awesome. I know it's last minute. The mastermind is awesome. The amount of networking, things like that. This is where right here is the most important part. The breakout sessions are great. All this stuff is amazing. You're going to learn awesome little tips and tricks and all that jazz. But the coolest thing right here is this, the 5 to 8 p.m. and the just people hanging out and talking and networking. This is where I meet so many people. Anytime I go to an event, all my friends that I start businesses with, all my friends that I work together with and lend money and things like that in, all the people that have accelerated me and stuff like that, I meet them at events like this. So, everybody's like, oh, I can't make it. I can't squeeze out a weekend. Just come one day. You don't even have to show up the whole thing. Like pop over one day. And then right here, you have same thing, the networking and all that stuff. That's really where you're going to make it. It's going to be awesome. You guys got to come. So I get to pick a winner for today. I'm going to give away one ticket. So I will pick somebody. You got to do a couple things though. You're going to have to, you must not already have a ticket. You must attend the live call, which you're here. Must give the video a like, and then you must comment on the video. Okay. Those are the 4 things that Sumner has stipulated. So I'm willing to give anybody a ticket away. I just want to see those comments and all that jazz. So let's do this. So I got John on with me. John, what's going on, man? How's your land investing career been going? Let's start with that.
It's been going good, man. It's been ramping up quite a bit. I started midway through last year, and it was really just part-time at first. I was just sending out a few thousand mailers here and there, just kind of getting my feet wet. But yeah, really just joining the Monday calls every week and trying to learn as much as possible was the biggest key to really jump-starting my business. And really just trying to scale the mailers. I mean, if you're not sending out mail, if you're not marketing, then you have no leads come in and you don't even have a business. So that was my biggest bottleneck starting out, was sending out enough mailers to get those high-quality leads, and also just the market research too. And obviously now having Land Insights helps a lot with that as well. It basically just streamlines the process. So if anybody's out there that doesn't have Land Insights yet, you're definitely missing out.
Yeah, that shaved hours and hours off my market selection every single week, which was a bottleneck for me because, we're trying to send out mail. Like I say this all the time, but we scrub like crazy. So we pull like 70,000 records a month. And if I didn't have Land Insights and all this stuff, I wouldn't be able to do that just because there's no way I could like do this. I mean, I can do it. It's just throwing money at a problem, right? But for me to use, instead of using Land Insights, this would cost me like $2,000 or $3,000 a month because I'd have to have them fully make a list for me and track every market. It'd just be insane. So yeah, dude, Land Insights is definitely a huge saver and time saver and all that. So
yeah, and it's not just the market research in Land Insights. You got the realtor report. I mean, you have to leverage relationships with realtors if you're going to make it in this business. I mean, there's no other way about it, especially if you're not local to the market that you're doing business in. Forget about it. You're going to get burnt out just by trying to work leads that you can't even see in person, or you can't even see the property in person. So I know Sumner said back in the day he never really used to work with realtors, but now it's a key part of his business, and it is for a lot of us that are trying to scale our business. So you need realtor relationships for sure. So that's another feature that Land Insights has, and it's very beneficial.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it really is beneficial. And we go back and forth using realtors and not using realtors. It just depends on the property. To be honest with you. We've come to like the realization like smaller parcels or something that we double close, we don't really use a realtor for. But anything that's like bigger or that requires like hand holding when walking the property, we use a realtor. And when you want to find somebody that's good that you could trust that actually knows the business, land insights, you just go there, you pick a realtor, one of the top ones, boom, you're done. It's like 5 minutes worth of work. So
Right.
yeah, it
Also,
is
too,
awesome.
if your business strategy is going after mid market or higher, then obviously realtors are going to want to work with you because there's enough spread there for them to make their commission and be happy with even spending time working with you. So that's another thing too, is like people will send over like a buy for 20, sell for 40 to a realtor. And it's like, how much is the realtor even going to make on the deal? You know, it's like, it's really not even worth their time, especially if they're doing volume. You know, these realtors that are closing dozens of deals a month, they're not going to want to work with a buy for 20, sell for 40. They're looking for like the buy for 100, sell for 200, and even higher than that. And especially the subdivide deals too. They're looking for those as well. So
Exactly. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a game changer. And coming, there's people in here that have, like Chris, you said you've never been to a mastermind. Like, you got to come to one. I seriously, I have probably met of my business partners. I probably met like 6 of them at masterminds, and almost everything I've done, like every real estate venture I've done, every flip I've ever done, it's always been with people I meet at networking events and masterminds. Just simply because you're with like-minded people. So accelerating your business, the best way to do it is going to a mastermind, talking to these people, seeing what other ideas are out there. Like, you're going to meet people like Ajay, and the way he runs his business is totally different. Ben, the way he runs his Ajay and Ben are together, but the way they run their business is totally different. There's going to be, John Jasniak, where he's like subdivide guy down in Texas. He crushes it. Like all these different people that are just different ways of doing the business. There's so many ways to do this that, like, today we're showing you one other way, right? This is just one other way of thousands. Like, there's so many other ways to do land and real estate. So it's definitely something you got to be there. Land ticket, nice. So awesome, guys. So let's get into this. So we're gonna look at today. We're actually gonna look for a couple more properties. So John has been sending me a bunch of them, but we're gonna look for other ones. And we have one right up here right now. We'll pull this one up, and I will I'll share my screen on this, and we'll kind of go over like why we picked this one, and then we'll look at the negative aspects of it too, and then we'll decide, is this one even worth looking at? Is it worth calling on or not? Right, and then once we go from there, we'll start looking at some other ones as well. So essentially, John, I'll pull this up. If you want to explain kind of what you're doing and why we're doing this.
Yeah, so I mean, on top of setting my 8 to 10,000 mailers a month and trying to ramp that up, because like I mentioned, if you're not marketing, you're not making money in this business. I'm trying to sprinkle in a few subdivide deals here and there, and obviously that could really help you catapult your business to a different level. So basically, my free time, I'm just looking on market and just looking for properties that have good road frontage, that are big enough, that are in flood zones, because obviously you can have plenty of road frontage in a big property, but if it's on a flood zone, then it's basically useless. So obviously there's a lot of different factors that go into finding a good subdivide candidate, and that's really why it makes it so tough, especially on market too, because a lot of the good subdivide candidates typically get scooped up pretty quick. But that's not always the case, and you're going to find that out here today on this call. There's a lot of deals that go under the radar for many reasons, but really the biggest reason is because these realtors don't know how to market the property.
That's always
like they put terrible pictures. The description doesn't tell you anything about the property. And so really those are the properties that we're looking for, right? So basically we're taking advantage of the fact that some of these realtors are bad at their job is basically what that is. But hey, I mean, someone's got to pick up these good properties because there's a lot of value to be had out here. So yeah, we could go ahead and take a look at this property. I got to pull it up here on my end.
Yeah. So, all right. So we looked at this one real quick. Now I already see all right. So just first picture, looks like a pretty nice property. I like the it's a corner lot. It's a double road frontage. Some negative aspects I'm seeing real quick are this power line easement, but it looks like it's transmission lines or general. I don't know if they could do taps off that, but whatever. It's not the worst case. They obviously need power. But one thing I look at is this triangle shape does kind of like make some odd lots. But what you could do is you could cut off a corner like this right here, or you could split it right down here. Go right down this way, and then you draw your lots long ways going down. So you come in kind of like instead of going straight back off the road, you go long ways off the road. So we're doing one that it kind of follows this weird long road kind of thing, and that's kind of how we're doing it. We're going with the road and kind of shaping it off the road instead of trying to go straight. But one thing I did notice, John, about this one, look how wet this property is.
I know. I was just going to mention that. So I just pulled it up on DataTree because, as I mentioned to you before the call, in Land Watch they don't give you the APN typically, so you have to kind of eyeball it. So I found it on DataTree, and it looks like it is in a flood zone. But with that being said, it looks like all the other houses around it are also in a flood zone too. So I mean, typically when you see property that's in a flood zone, but all the houses around it are also in a flood zone, then that doesn't always mean that it's you write it off right away necessarily.
Yeah.
It really just depends on how bad it is. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. So this one right here, you could see it's called a floodway here.
Yeah.
So that means it's actually getting wet like all the time.
Yeah.
So floodways, that's going to be tough. Flood zone, you can still build on a flood zone. Now these parcels here are actually technically in the floodway, but I mean, sometimes these maps have bleed over. So like this could be in a flood, like shows it it's in a floodway. But when you're actually looking at a FEMA map, it might not be right here. These might be just in a flood zone. But either way, this does look like a floodway. And then going off the pictures real quick, you could see how much water is on this property. You see right here, all this stuff right here. So like that tells me right away that this is probably not something we want to mess with. Just because you're instantly going to be dealing with that. It's going to be pretty prevalent. And when they do real estate photos, like they're probably trying to take it when it's the best time. So if this is how it looks like, then it just makes me question, like, is this really that bad? And then I think right here, there's like a stream or something that snakes right through the property. Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a stream that snakes right through it. And I guess it goes up to this corner here too. So let's see. Yeah. So like we said, this doesn't show on, this doesn't show the APNs. So what we got to do is, let me shut off some of this stuff. Okay. So this didn't show me the, see, this is a transmission line right here coming right across the front of the property. Right there.
Yeah.
So it's these two parcels. So when you get this one, you get more road frontage. So like when you go to subdivide this, you could potentially come right down this line right here and almost draw a line down the road. And then you're cutting properties in on that curve kind of thing like that. And then over here, you're going to cut in like two. So it's not an ideal track because square is better, but it still like does it is intriguing because it's got nice road frontage. But this one I think is probably a dud just because of the water. But what I did here, so here's the property right here. And then if you go into the map, like they always have this little Google map right here. I just zoomed into a local property. If you zoom in pretty dang good, see right here, here's the address, 155 McMullen Road. And then I went in land ID and just typed in, go to land ID, go to address, and I just type in 155 McMullen Road. And then I look for the thing, Gurney, Alabama. There you go. And she pulled right up. That's the house. That's the parcels. So it's pretty easy to find it if you don't have the actual thing. Now, what's interesting, see Stevens right here. Stevens down here too. So it's like a brother probably or something like that. Cool. All right, so let's do this. Let's
Dennis, what I just did was I'd send you two other links to two different properties. So if you want to check those out, we could do it later or we could do it now. It's up to you.
No, I'm fine with it now.
Sounds good. And actually, do the one that I just sent recently, not the second one. We could save the second one for after.
Do the bottom one.
Yeah, the bottom one, the one that I just sent most recently.
Okay.
Should be 54 acres.
Yeah, that's it. So another thing to think about when we're looking at this stuff, acreage size, right? You want to make sure the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
You don't want to get something like 20, 30 acres. Like it's probably not going to be worth it, right? So
Right.
50 and up, like that's kind of where like 50 is probably like the low end because you want to be able to give them enough money where it makes sense, but then be able to subdivide it into 5 or 6 or 10 lots to actually make the juice worth the squeeze, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
just do it on one parcel. This doesn't make sense, right? Okay. So is it a single road?
Yeah, it's a single road. What I liked about this one is if you look on the map on Land Watch, you can see that the properties just to the south of it are smaller parcels. So if you really want to dice it up into, quarter acre lots or half acre lots, and obviously for 54 acres, there's plenty of land there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that you got to check demand and see kind of like if there's builders even looking in this area.
Yeah.
Building, that's a whole other thing. Another thing to think about, like all this stuff. So recently brush hogged, okay. When you're looking at this stuff, anything that's pretty much on market and it's a really good subdivide candidate, like major subdivide, it's probably already been looked at by a lot of the builders.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's not a good deal. You might have to make it work, but it's just something to think about too.
Right.
1305, 1305. What is this? Bo Howard Road. Howard Road. Tony, Alabama. Okay, so where are we at? Where did this take me? This should have taken me to 1305. That's saying 61. So this property, let's see where this was. It should be right across from it. That's the shape. Huh. It's not bringing me to the right one. So it's not bringing me to the right one, but let's find this. So Beaver Dam and Bo Howard. So we got Beaver Dam. Bo Howard, Bo Howard, Bo Howard. Willie Bay. Huh. Should be there. I don't know what's happening. Weird. Let me try a different address. Mm-mm. 113 Brittany Drive. 113. Brittany Drive. Red. There we go. Charles Smoot. Okay, so we got this parcel here. Now the thing is too is like, all right, we look at road frontage, right? That's our number one thing. But there's nothing to say that we can't add a road right here.
Right.
Adding a road right down the center or something like that, right down the edge, a boundary line road, is also possible, right? So if you do that, that obviously opens things up. Now, if you look at this, we got some kind of house on it or something there. No big deal. So this is good to see too. It's nice and flat. That's definitely going to help you because if you're subdividing, you don't want to give somebody like a crap parcel, right? Let's check surface water. A little bit of surface water. Let's check floodplains. Yeah, it's all flooded there. So the one thing I will say, Alabama has a ton of floodplains. Just really think about that, but they do have a lot of them. So usually when I see big floodplains like that, they're more than likely not going to be a good major subdivide candidate, because if it was a major subdivide, they're not going to put this in here because every house in there is going to require. You're either going to do one of two things. You got to add more dirt to get it above, so you don't have any more whatever, or add drainage systems and all that stuff, or you have to. Every house has to have flood zone, like flood requirements, like flood zone insurance and all that crap. So it's ideal that you don't build a subdivision in a flood zone, right? So that's kind of out on this one. This one is decent. I would say the road frontage, we can measure this. Let's see. Let's bring it to my maps. Sorry. I hit the wrong button. 113 Brittany. 113 Brittany Drive. Stick this here. Let's create a map. Great. Can measure a couple things here. I want to see how big she is, how much road frontage there is too. All right, so here's our parcel. So tools, we could go here. We can measure this. Got 1,100 feet, right? So what I could use here is I could say, this is Tony, Alabama. So I could just go here. Let me go here. Hold on. I'm doing a chat.
Also, too, Dennis, I've been finding a lot of properties that check all the boxes we just spoke about. Like, it's not in a floodplain, has a ton of road frontage, is over 100 acres. But like the area as a whole doesn't have a whole lot of development going on. So like, you're not going to want to subdivide a 100-acre property into 5-acre lots if all the other surrounding properties are 100+ acres. So that's another thing people have to keep in mind too, is you have to look at the surrounding area and make sure that it matches up with what you're trying to do with the subdivide. So
yeah, for the most part, you want to look for that 10-acre exemption too, because anything below that, and certain towns like have different stuff. Okay. Sometimes you could ask chat, and chat will look it up for you. Tell me. So I'll use like chat as Google basically, and it'll go ahead and Google all this stuff for me basically, and it'll tell me like what the minimum road frontage and all that stuff. So a lot of times this helps me just save some time. So we need 100 feet of road frontage in limestone, has varying requirements for zoning, dependent areas. Okay. So let's say it's 100. So that's 1,100 acres. Now, that's 1,100 feet, which essentially means you could probably cut a property here. Like, I don't think you would do 100. You probably want to go a little bit bigger because that would create like a bowling alley. And a lot of times they won't let you do something like that. Like towns and counties, they don't want that stuff. They want to have good sized, square lots, right? So you go there at 1, and you go like here, something like this. Like this isn't bad. Let's just see kind of how many we could get out of it. Could probably get 2 more in here. Probably not. Yeah, that's okay. So we got. Okay, cool. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this, and they're between. When you do actually go to subdivide this, you're going to want to make them 10 acres exactly.
Right.
So, so that's that. So let's do this. Let's take a look at on market what stuff is selling for. So we got this address right here. I'm going to copy this. I want to see what 10 acres are moving for in this area. So we'll go Redfin. And this is before like we really get into pricing on that. I want to see, is there actually any real action going on over here, right? Anything for land or no? I mean, you definitely see new construction stuff coming up. There's a couple of them here, which is Alabama is known for doing a lot of new construction lately. There's a lot of growing there, but this one is probably not going to be a good one, like we said, because it's in a flood zone. So sold land. I'm going to look above 5 acres, and I want to see the 5s. Let's go to the 20s, and I want to see what they're selling for in this area. So we got 160K. This is a 7.69. Essentially the same type of lot we're looking to cut in, right? So this sold for 20K an acre. That's pretty dang good. Let's see. This one sold for rare fine, 8.9 unrestricted, almost 300 feet of road frontage, woods in the back, blah, blah, blah. This sold for 26K an acre. Yeah, this looks very similar to our parcel 2. I don't want to go too far out. Check this last one. 18 acres, so for 14K an acre. So they're asking right now for this guy 634.53. So they're asking just over 10K. They're asking about 11K an acre. Now, based on we got those 3. Anything else? Let's see. Harvest 5 acres, 200K. So we go here. Let's see if this works today. I mean, based on these comps, like, let me actually, I might only be going back 3 months. Yep, that's why. Never mind. Let's go back a little further. There we go. There's all the comps. Okay, so 17 acres, 16.5. If you just scale. Track 3. So it looks like somebody might have just did this. Yep. So this guy just did a subdivide here. He just chopped up 3 tracks. And he sold these for 16.5 an acre. Let's see how fast they sold too. Pretty dang fast. Look at that. That's awesome. Okay, so that's good. That's decent. You want to see that. This sold for 20K an acre. And this went in August 2nd, delisted, and then sold. So this probably got a 160K offer, and they delisted it because they knew the guy was closing. Let's see what other ones we got. Oh man, all I want to do is put a drink in my hand. How much does it cost to build the road? So it depends. If you're doing an actual paved road, it's about $80 a square foot. $80 a linear foot. If you're doing just like a gravel road, it's like $8 to $10 a foot, a linear foot. So if you're going like 15 wide, I think it's 15 wide per foot. It's like about $8. So if it's 1,000 feet, it's $8,000. Go it down. 25K. So I'm seeing a lot of like 20s, 18s here. So this actually might be a pretty decent deal, to be honest. And this stuff is moving fast too. So March to May to June, it went contingent once they got the price right, and it's sold. Okay. Ooh, when you talk like that.
Yeah, so we're seeing that properties are moving out here, so obviously that's a good sign. And then, besides the fact that this property has a floodplain on pretty much half of it, which obviously hinders a lot of the value, but there's still value to be had here. There's no doubt about that. So
yeah, I'm just trying to see now too. Like I want to see if any of these have a flood zone on them as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. It does have a flood plain here. It's a 1 out of 10 now. So it's pretty low. Just checking some of these comps because it's good to see some of the comps how they're also sitting. All right. Oh, fucking man. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be that detrimental. Almost every state has the exemption, the 10-acre exemption, Bree.
Yeah.
Thoughts when looking at highly sloped land? Probably not a good candidate. No, highly sloped is not a good candidate because you want to make sure you have something that's going to be like people could build on or hang out on, whatever the case may be. Okay, once you build the road, you have to get an easement with the county, correct? Yes, so you're going to record that as a road, a public access. Now that's going to be a private road though. So some counties, states, jurisdictions, they don't allow you to subdivide off a private road. There's very certain ones have restrictions like that. So you got to be careful with that too. So just be mindful. Cemetery near have anything? Yeah, it does kind of have. Cemetery does definitely have some stuff. Some of these email I've been looking almost every day. Awesome, Jeff. I'll take a look. Oh, Jeff, I think the one you sent me was a little small. We'll talk about that though. Okay, cool. So yeah, there's tons of comps here. So this one actually might be pretty dang good. Yeah. What do you want to do? Do you want to call him? Ask him a question?
Yeah.
You want to do it or you want me to do it?
I mean, I could do it. I'm just, the whole time you were going over that, I was looking at some of these other properties in my spreadsheet that I want to send over to you. There's a lot of subdivide candidates on market right now. So
yeah.
If you guys are looking to get into this stuff, then you can make a ton of money just by spending an hour or two a day just looking on the market. They're out there. You just got to find them.
They're out there. And then, we'll bring in my lenders and cover all down payments and all the survey costs and all that jazz. So just got to bring them to us and then make some deals happen. Yeah, over 50, Jeff. Like that's like ideal. Over 50 is like kind of like the small end. Anything bigger than that, that's really where you want to be at. Let's see. I actually just brought somebody on too that we're kind of working with too. That's going to help us with a lot of these deals. So it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, give him a ring. Let's see what happens. I will. I could drop you some tips in the thing, but basically, essentially, what we're looking for, you want to find. One, is the seller ready to sell? Are they open to seller finance? Right. So what I typically say is like, I'll do like 5 or 7% interest and we'll do like ideally like a 2 to a 3 year balloon, ideally. But if I need to do a quick one, I'll do a 1 year balloon. And then typically down payments when they ask is like 10% is my ideal. But sometimes, we'll go up more if it's a good property or, go 20K, 30K, whatever the case may be, or 20 or 30%, depending. So
I'm going to call the realtor right now.
Do it.
Her name is Martha. I'm looking to speak with Martha.
She's in the office right now. May I take a message or help you with something?
Sure, yeah. I'm looking at a property she's got listed here in Madison County, Alabama. It's 53.96 acres. By any chance, would you be able to provide some information on this property?
Do you have like where exactly it's located?
Yeah, the address is 356 Bo Howard Road in Tony, Alabama.
Okay. Let me get your contact information and I'm going to get that agent on that one to give you a call right back. What's your name?
My name is John. Sounds like a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. All right, so we'll just expect a call back from her, I guess. whenever that is.
Yeah. Actually, here's her direct number.
Oh, there we go. Right.
Yeah, Anthony, you're right. So if we're just doing generalizations here, but yeah, if a county or anything like that is a 5-acre lot exemption, that's great. But most counties and jurisdictions are 10-acre nationally. So going off of that, it just gives you a broader spectrum instead of trying to go very niche and go specific to markets. Like you have to do a lot of like learning to figure out which ones are the 5-acre lots and all that jazz. But if you know it, then go for those.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hey, Martha, it's John. I'm taking a look at your listing here. It's 53.96 acres in Madison County, Alabama. And I just had a few quick questions regarding it. So feel free to call me back when you get a chance. I could be reading. All right.
Nice. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a look. You have other ones you want to look at, or do you want to pull some live here?
Yeah, let's just pull some live because I mean, like I said, I got a ton I want to share with you, but we'll just
Okay.
save that for later.
Yeah, so there's a lot here. Like if I'm just looking in a very small area, I have 350 I could look at, right? Okay. Do you want nothing to do with flood zones, or is it okay if it's okay if it has a little bit of flood zone? That's fine. It's not the worst thing. Ideally, you want something that doesn't have flood zone. It just depends on the land. Because rec land is great land, right? People are going to use it for whatever they're going to use it for. We consider areas there are plat exemptions. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there's different exemptions, yeah, we just got to know what the exemptions are. I'm just using generalizations for people to get into this. Like if you've never dealt with the deal in your life, this is something you could come look at, underwrite real quick, and bring it to us and work on it. So it's a no-brainer. So looking here, like obviously there's a lot of them on the market in just this one small little area. So one way to filter this down is you go look at how long it's been on the market. So 100 acres plus, and then depending, let me see. I forget if Redfin allows you to do that. If not, Zillow does.
Also, too, whoever asked that question about the flood zone for subdivide candidates, it also depends on what part of the property it's located on, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at the property and the flood zone is right by the road access and the road frontage, that's more likely to be an issue than if it's towards the back and away from the road. So that's probably the biggest factor when it comes to flood zones when you're looking for subdivide candidates, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Because if it's in the front, then guess what? You're going to need a culvert to cross the road, right? Which that's added cost and all that stuff. So you definitely don't want that. If it's in the back of the property, sometimes it's a feature more than it's a negative, right?
Right.
So I actually think that's a good thing. So just based on this, I mean, what I just did is I just looked at stuff that they reduced the price in the last 30 days, right? So 100 acres plus, they reduced the price in the last 30 days. So when we look at them, we could just pop in, we could zoom in. There's a lot more to it, but let's just start by looking at some of these lots. And what you're going to want to do is kind of find stuff that you see some stuff listed. And then we'll also look at the stuff that's sold. And then we'll try to see, is there a big difference between what's sold and what's listed, right? So we go in. Looks like it's got, and the wider the property, basically the longer the road frontage, the more ideal it is, right? So something like this, while it's a nice property, it goes deep, all that jazz. It does come back here, actually re-hits a road. So actually this one could be a nice property because you could cut here and then bring in lots this way. And then also come in and do lots this way. So this is actually a pretty nice property, all things considered. Let's see what this one actually looks like. And then we'll take a look at if this actually has any value. I just want to see what this looks like first. So 278 acres. It's on Redfin for a long time. So Fulton County. Okay. So what I want to look at is this. So this is 820K. It's 3K an acre. Let's do 38 error. All right, so let me do this. Let me go sold. So I'm going to look for the smaller lots, right? Let's take a look at this. 1 year balloon. What do you mean? You need to do a quick one. Laura, I'm not sure. Can you explain? 1 year balloon is if it's a quick deal, like basically the property is going to sell pretty fast. Like if we're seeing stuff turn over in less than like 60 days, then I could do a 1 year balloon. But anything past that, I really want a 2 to a 3 year balloon to give myself enough window to exit, basically. Yeah. So let's go here.
Just kind of a side note, like when you're looking for these properties to subdivide, you're looking for multiple exit strategies, right? So for example, you don't want a subdivide candidate that's just a major subdivide candidate, meaning like you have to put roads in and lights. You want to be able to do a minor subdivide or a major subdivide. That gives you 2 exit strategies right off the bat. So a minor subdivide is just you do a simple survey and just chop it up into different blocks into smaller parcels. So that's something to look out for. If you're only looking for properties that are major subdivides, then it's going to be a harder project to take on. You want multiple exit strategies when you're looking for subdivide candidates.
Yep. Now, taking a look at this one right here, this was a big property. It was like 200 something acres. The problem was it was listed for like 4K an acre. Now, looking at the smaller lots, they're only selling for 4,900. That's only like $1,500 more. So that's not a good candidate, right? Because you have all these costs in it. So you really want to buy stuff that has a big enough spread that where if you're buying it for like 5K an acre, you could sell it for 9K an acre, right? Enough spread that it'll cover all your costs, your surveying, all that stuff. And also too, like these types of deals, you need long runways when it comes to getting the deal under contract too, because your ideal goal is to get the property, get it under contract, and then do the subdivide prior to closing on it. Obviously, you want to make sure your title's clear and everything like that. You're not going to have any hurdles, but this way, when you close, you start marketing, because the second you close is when that balloon timer ticks. And you want to be able to exit these on the other side before that timer expires, right? So another way to do this, you could just look at the solds, right? We could look on, or John, can you share screen? You should be able to, right? If you go on the bottom.
What am I presenting here?
I was going to say, do you want to show like how you're doing this, just to get somebody else's view on how they do it?
Yeah, that's fine. Let me just let me pull up Landwatch here. Give me one sec.
Yeah.
While I'm pulling this up, can somebody in the chat put a county they want me to do some market research in? Let's do that. Data keeps logging me out too. I gotta log back in here. These timers get you every time.
Yep.
All right, there we go. So I'm logged back in. Nobody?
What do we got? There we go. York County, South Carolina. All right. Maria, York County is a tough one. All right. I will say, I know York County pretty well. The reason why this could be a really tough county is there's different types of soil there, and the black dirt soil over there is really tough. Can't really build on it and stuff like that. It's also a highly developed area, so a lot of these people know what their land is worth, right? There's so many builders. It's one of the fastest growing areas in the country because it's the bottom extension of Charlotte. So that area is super hard to get deals, like really good deals on, because it's one of those like really sought after areas. So that's one thing about that area.
All right, we'll go with Marshall County. Shout out to Anthony Reese.
Yeah.
Since you said York County is not a good option. So we'll see what we got here. So typically what I do is make sure it's on a county level. I'll just kind of take a look and see which cities have the most sales, just out of curiosity. It's not too big of a deal, but I'll basically go, for this example, we'll do 50 acres and up, right? And I know you just mentioned 100 acres and up, but sometimes you could find a good lot that's, 75 acres, that's still a good subdivide candidate, right? So typically, so there's not a whole lot of properties on market out here, but typically you'll see like an undeveloped property type option. So I would click that because like you don't want to be looking at properties that have like, it's like grazing land for cattle, or I mean, you could look at that, but you want to look at properties that are just raw, vacant land, just fully undeveloped, right? So I mean, to be honest, in this case, I don't think Marshall County is the best example we could use. We'll try. I'll take a look at Overton. Somebody just put that in the chat. That's another thing too. When you're looking at these, I mean, obviously you can snipe deals when there's only a few on market in a certain county, but you want to find counties where there's like 20 plus properties on the market, or preferably closer to 50. It just kind of gives you a better chance of finding a good subdivide candidate. So let's see if this one, yeah, right here, undeveloped, right? Like that. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll just take a look, kind of skim through this, but I'll go to the bottom here and I'll type in just road frontage, right? See, so it got rid of 2 of the options, but when you put the keywords in there, you know for a fact it's in the listing, right? So it might be like 1,000 feet of road frontage or whatever the case might be. So let's see, we got 4 options here. Let's take a look at this one's got a creek on it. There's just not a whole lot of options out here. Like typically the counties I look at have like a few dozen properties in the market. I'm going to try another one. Let's see what you guys got here. Oconee County.
I also look a lot at what good counties are selling 10-acre lots. So I'll look at stuff like I'll go on Land Insights and I'll look at the 10 to 20s and I'll see which counties have good movement. And then if you see a lot of stuff going, moving pretty fast, then I'll go there and I'll say, okay, what's on market in this area and general areas around it. Aiken County. I actually just did 2 subdivides in Aiken County.
Okay, so we got 11 options here, so it's better. So let's take a look at this top one here. And for those of you guys who have Land Insights, you want to toggle through the different acreage ranges and see what the price per acre is on that. So like basically I'm going to look at this one and see, okay, 4.5 million divided by 839, whatever that is, just kind of compare it to what you're seeing in Land Insights. Because right off the bat, if you see that this is priced way too high, the odds of you getting it down to the amount you want it at for it to make sense it's not impossible, but it's rather low, right? So that's another thing you want to do. You don't want to waste your time taking a look at a property for like a half hour and then you find out, wait, it's listed way too high. Where the odds are going to come down 50%. I mean, it could. I mean, it does happen, but it's definitely not the rule.
The likelihood of somebody accepting seller finance and reducing their price is going to be way unlikely, right? Exactly. Usually it's one or the other, right? And with these deals too, you're not coming in and offering cash unless it's like an absolute steal. But 9 times out of 10, they're not absolute steals. Or if it could have been subdivided, it probably already would have been done, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to make sure you're telling these people like, hey, we're not gonna, this is what's gonna happen. Like, we're coming in, we want seller finance so that we could build this up, get it ready to go, and then subdivide it, and then sell each parcel individually.
All right. So right off the bat, I like this one just because if you look at the map here, I'll zoom in, you'll see that the road goes right through it, right? So right away you could split up lots over here, over here. It looks like there is a house right here and possibly some structures over here too, but we can worry about that later down the road. So typically what I'll do from here is, so I'll just see, like I mentioned before, take the 2.3 mil, and I mean, typically we have that Land Insights Chrome feature, but for some reason it's not working right now. So that's 12,300, right? So that's how much that's listed per acre. So now I'll go over to wherever this is at. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Yeah, you'll pop into like Redfin and check comps. Just basically see what are 10 acres selling for, right?
Right.
If they're not selling for a 20K, then it's probably not worth it.
Okay, so then I'll start sharing again here in a second.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up Land Insights right now. All right, there we go. We're back. All right. So we'll pop over here to land insights. So we got Aiken County right here, right? So if we're looking at, this is 0.2 acres to 100 acres, right? So this is like a general overview of the market. You'll see that right off the bat, it's got over 100% sell-through rate. That's like the bare minimum you need for a market, right? So it checks that box right away. But obviously, we're not going to look at the median sold price per acre here because it's too wide of an acreage range, right? So we'll go over to 40 to 100. Okay, so the average sold price per acre is 5,927, right? And then we'll just kind of go over here and see what the sell-through rate is. It's a little low, right? 62%. But typically for bigger size lots, there's less of a market for that. And that's also why subdividing is such a game changer, because you open up a whole different buyer pool, right? Because how many people are looking for a property that's 150 acres? Not many. Right. It's a lot of development. Whereas right, when you subdivide and you're selling 5-10 acre lots, then it opens up a buyer pool of like everyday people that are looking to build a house on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if we go to, let's see, 20 to 40 acres, you can see it's going up, right? So 7,300, it's up about 1,500. We'll go down to 10 to 20 acres. Once again, it goes up 9,200. So that's a good sign, right? It shows, hey, if we subdivide this property, we're going to be able to make money on it, most likely, right?
Yeah.
Now, 12,400. So you go from, I believe it was 39 or 4,900 to 12,400 per acre when you subdivide it into 5 to 10 acre lots, right? So we know right away within 2 minutes that this is a good market to be in for subdividing, right? So checks those boxes. Now, getting back to the property itself, let me get that up here. Where's it at? So now that we know that's a good market, we'll kind of just take a look at the structures a little bit more and just kind of see where they're located at. Obviously, you got a water feature here.
I mean, the good thing, so this one is listed at $12K an acre, right? And stuff in Aiken County is only selling for $9K an acre.
Right.
Right. So this wouldn't be a good deal.
It wouldn't. Yeah. Sorry, I did miss that.
Yeah.
Let's get here real quick.
Yeah. So that one would be that'd be a deal killer on that one, right?
It
because,
would, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like a lot of these sellers, they know what the property would be worth if you subdivide it, so they'll just list it for that amount, right? Like they literally hit the nail on the head there, where they're listing it at 12K an acre. It's probably because the realtor and or the seller knows, hey, if I was to subdivide this lot, which it is a good subdivide candidate on paper, this is how much the lots would go for. So on their part, they're being smart there. But
yep,
you know, a lot of people sell it at face value, so that's what we're looking for. Let's do a different county. What are you thinking, Dennis?
You know, I like what do I like? Go to Land Insights real quick. Let's just look at North Carolina real quick.
Sure.
And look at let's just look exactly kind of like you were doing before. Let's look at the bigger parcels and see what they're trading for, and then let's just change the size and let's check what they're trading for.
Sure. Yeah, I do that quite often. It's a good strategy.
Yeah, because that gives you a quick insight, like just seeing what it's doing, right?
Right. So we'll start off at the bigger acreage lots.
Yep. Yeah, start off the bigger ones, and then we'll look at what they're trading for, and just take quick references, and then you pop over and look at the smaller ones and see what they're trading for, right?
So 5,100, 34, 8, 35. 35.
Are you seeing? Look at stuff that has
good sell-through rates.
No, look at actually stuff that's on market. Is it showing on market stuff?
Yeah, active.
Yeah, so look at the active. So sort it by the number active. Right, this is a quick screener way, right? Because if you do this, you could hop in here, you could see all the ones that are active and see what they're listed for, right, or close to it. And then when you pop over to the solds on the other stuff, like then you can look at that. A couple different ways you could do this. Obviously, you could add all these, or you could just take quick screenshots, whatever you want to do, write it down, anything to basically look at it. Sell-through rates don't really matter here on the larger parcels because these bigger parcels don't really sell through that fast, right? They're more or less, you're just looking at what's on market because you want to get a frame of reference for the price that stuff is listed at, or the average. And then if the median's like $4,000 and then you go into the 10 to 20s, and the median's like $8,000. Okay, you're probably in a good spot. So, kind of look at a couple of these counties and like look at what you think looks good, and then let's pop over to the 10 acres and look what they look like.
So while you were talking there, Dennis, I'm sure everyone saw, but I slid over here and I just added one filter. So I did 50%, greater than 50% sell-through rate through 6 months, right? Because like I don't want to be looking at properties or rather counties that have like a 12% sell-through rate in 6 months. That's not ideal. Yeah. So right off the bat, just off one filter, I could tell these are rather good counties to look at, or at least a lot better than before. So it's more so worth my time to look at. So we'll slide over here.
Well, like I was saying before, though, sell-through rate in larger parcels doesn't really matter because they're not selling that fast. They don't move as fast as other stuff. So
right, but if you're looking at like let's say if you do this filter for 10 to 20 acres or 5 to 10, then that would probably be
that's what you need. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You want to like the bigger parcels, it doesn't really matter as much, but the smaller parcels it matters a lot.
Okay, I'll just take it off for now. Then I'll just
there. Because you're just looking to see how many, which ones are kind of good.
Yeah. Yeah. So as long as you filter by active, that's all that matters. So let's see.
Can you open a second window, a second land insights window?
Sure.
Or will it boot you out?
Here, let me stop sharing really quick.
Give that a shot, because if you could open a second window, then what you could do is put them side by side and then compare them.
Yeah.
Because one way I've done it is I would screenshot it, take a look at the numbers, and then go back, open the screenshot up on the right side, and then on the left side have my screen, and I just look them back and forth. Just a quicker way to kind of look at it.
Yeah. Okay, I just got it pulled up. I'm gonna filter this out real quick. So, we said North Carolina, right?
Yeah, let's try North Carolina.
It's your favorite, Dennis?
I love North Carolina. I don't know what it is. I just love the land there, man. It's so beautiful.
It's good, yeah. I closed my first deal out there in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Way back when.
Nice, man. What county?
It was by the coast. I think it's like Perquimans County.
Nice.
It was like a nice little farmland parcel. Actually, I wholesaled it. I got it under contract at like 92 and sold it at like 118, 120.
Dang.
Let's see.
There you go.
All right, so let's take a look at these. And actually, I'm going to filter this down to. You said for the second tab, do 5 to 10 acres.
Yeah, so tab 1 do the larger parcels, and then 10 to 20.
10 to 20, okay.
Yeah, let's look at 10 to 20s.
Yeah.
And then that one you could sort by sell-through rate, because that, as opposed to the larger parcel, you want a faster sell-through rate, right? You want something that's moving quick.
Right.
You know, I just mailed Chenango County, New York, and it's like there's zero, like it's like $800 an acre over there. It's too cheap. Jeez. You have to buy stuff at like $300 an acre to be able to sell it, and even then, it's like
it's not worth it.
No, it's got activity, and I've had a lot of like negative people reaching out to me.
All right, so I'm going to share again here.
Go ahead.
So we got both pulled up. Let's get this pulled up. Okay, so this is.
You could hit the. You ever do that? If you hit the little green button, you could expand like left screen, right screen.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right here.
Yeah. You do tile window left, and then pick your second window, and tile it to the right.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
When you select it, it shows you like tile window left, tile window right. Exit full screen. Yeah.
You can tell I'm not tech savvy.
Yeah, hit the little hover over the green. The little green button, the expand button.
Oh, the expand.
Yeah, and it shows 3 options. It'll show you tile left, tile right, and then expand.
Oh, man. It's not showing anything. This green button right here?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Okay.
Tile left or whatever, and then pick your second window.
Gotcha. There we go. Yeah. Perfect.
And then when you now you could scroll on both sides of the screen, which is nice.
Actually, wait, I gotta make this one the. Let's see, there we go.
There you go.
And then where's my second one?
Are we on two different desktops?
Yeah.
That might be why too. It's not gonna do it because you're on two different desktops.
Let me figure this out real quick, Dennis. There we go. Okay, I think.
Yeah.
Kick this one out. Go. All right, I finally got it.
Nice.
Just learned something new today, Dennis.
It's awesome when you're comparing stuff because you could scroll on both windows at the same time.
Yeah, this is perfect. All right, we're good to go. All right, now that that's figured out. So we got, 40 to 100 acres left side, and then we got 10 to 20 on the right side.
Yeah, so 40 to 100, you're just going to sort by how many are on market. So whichever has the highest on market.
Yeah, so making county.
Yep. So that's perfect. So now that you got that, and then you the other side, we're just looking at what kind of matches up, right? So you're going to look at STR rates, higher STRs. So do like a 3-month or a 6-month STR, either one, whatever you want to do, whatever you recommend or whatever you like doing.
Yeah, we'll do 6 months.
Okay, but now make sure sold in the last year, at least 5 or more.
Should we do 10 or more, you think? I think that's
it looks like even 10, yeah. Greater than or equal to 10 or more. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
We'll even just bump this up too. There we go. All right.
So Rutherford County. So Rutherford County is number 3 here.
Right.
So that one's something you'd like to look at, Rutherford County.
Yeah. So
now let's look at the median sold price in Rutherford and then check the other side. See, this is why Land Insights makes life so much easier because this is like, let's find subdivides. Takes you 2 minutes.
Look at that. So for 10 to 20 acres, it's 8,800 per acre, and then 40 to 100, 3,000. So we know it's a good market.
It's a decent market. You want to see a little bit more spread, but you could definitely see there is a difference in the pricing, right?
Right.
So let's see what else we got. We got Johnson County. What's Johnson County?
Yeah.
Johnson County is way better. You got 11,000 to 18,000.
Right.
That's what you want to see. See how big of a spread that is. Right. So that's kind of like exactly what you want. Those bigger spreads. And that's the median, right? So there's probably ones in the low end, ones on the high end, obviously.
Right.
Onslow, Johnson.
Nash County.
Where's Nash at? What are we at?
Right here.
Nash, you got. It didn't really change much. 8,000 to 9,000. Yeah.
It's homogenous.
Yeah, pretty homogenous. All across acreage ranges is crazy too. Yeah, so this is another way to pick these markets, right? So if you go in here, you could pick all these little markets and then go through it and then say, okay, this county's good, this county's good too. And then work basically from like this, the way we're doing it here.
I think I found one, Dennis. Iredell, 6,500 and then 17,000.
Iredell's, so I've sold a couple properties in Iredell and they sell like wicked fast. 10 acres I sold 2 in like 7 days.
Wow.
So that's probably a good one. I think we should look into that one.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Iredell's a really good one. The one thing with Iredell is there's a lot of culverts on the roads. Like what they do, I don't know why they did this in this county. They put a lot of their roads following streams. So a lot of the properties you need to cross culverts to get over to it. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
So do you want to share your screen and we'll take a look at some properties out there?
Yeah, so let's do this. I have to pick somebody to go to the mastermind.
Yeah.
So let's see. Who are we gonna pick? John, who are we gonna pick? Who do you want to meet, John? That's what I want to know. I want you to tell me.
Here. Let's see who we got. How many people are on the call? I can't even see.
There's 31 now. There was like almost 50 at one point. So we got 31 left. So let's pick somebody. I'm gonna let John do it today, and then we'll get you cooked up with one. And we'll get you a free ticket. So I know it's last minute. So I guess ideally somebody that's pretty close. Now, have you done the things though? Have you done all the things that Sumner wanted? Sumner said we need not have a mastermind ticket ready, must attend the entire live call. You've been here, must give the video a like, and must leave a comment on the video. I've left a comment on the video. Thanks, Nick. NJ Realtor, I'm ready too. There you go. NJ. So I'm in NJ, bro. All right, John, I'm going to let you do that. So I'm going to look up Iredell. I'm going to pull this up while you decide. And then
who am I supposed to know if they did all those things that I do?
I think they'll tell you. They'll tell you. If you've done it, just drop something in there. Only one candidate, LO. No, there's a couple in there. All right, so we're going to look at this.
All right, how about this? Anyone who doesn't have a Leah ticket or Leah Mastermind ticket yet, just say me in the chat, and then I'll just choose from a random person. Let's do it.
There you go.
I'm not going to look through previous chats here.
Me. A lot of me's. Come on, me's.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Ardell County.
All right, let's see who we got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6.
We got to make sure if we are going, you got to make sure you could get there. That's the major thing.
Yep.
So.
All right. Moment of truth. Let's see. People are saying me twice. I'm gonna. This is what I'll do, Dennis, just to be fair, because I'm not gonna just pick a random person. I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna flick around my chat here a little bit, and then I'll just point, and whoever I point to is the person that's gonna get the ticket. Let's do it that way.
Love it.
Just to be very fair here, okay? All right. Matthew Young.
Woo!
Matthew.
There we go. Matthew Young. Congrats, bro. Matt, send me a DM over there on Discord, and I will. I'll get you a ticket. I'll get you hooked up with one.
Congrats, man. Matt.
Let's do it. Awesome, man. Matt, where do you live, bro? You nearby? You near the mastermind in Vegas? Sure. Well, nice. Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm going to pull up Iredell while we're doing this. Can you get there? You going to be able to get there, man? Nice. All right, cool. I'm going to share real quick. Iredell County, North Carolina. So let's do this. I will do all filters sold. We're going to look at for sale land. And I want to see let's look over 40 acres.
Yeah, Matthew, now you got to go. You have no choice. Sorry.
Now you have to, bro. Yeah, you're obligated now. All right, so Iredell County. This is the whole county right here. So I will tell you, I know this county pretty well. This county, northern area of the county, this kind of goes up into like, this would be, pretty sure this is Surrey County up here. So this actually slows down. There is some good action here, but also slows. Come on, what happened? Where'd you go? What'd you do? Iredell County. We'll look at this real quick and then we'll call it a day. And then we can follow up next week. Actually, Keith is coming as well. And Keith is going to be on the call next week. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this stuff as well next week. So up here north, stuff sells a little bit slower. Down here, stuff sells like crazy fast. All down in this area. This is like speed. My properties that I sold were right here. They sold full ask offers within like 7 days. It's crazy. So let's look at this. You got a 600 acre property, 43 acres, a little small, but let me see if it's got good road frontage. A lot of times too, when you're looking at these properties, like they don't really ever outline what they look like well, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's nice looking land and all this jazz, but and then when you look at the map, this map is half the time is not right. So this one actually might be, because I think this one actually is the property, judging by how it looks. But they didn't put like any kind of like anything on here. But it does go back. So this is no good because it doesn't have enough road frontage, right? You got 1 million. Let's see what this guy looks like. Can't really tell where the road is here. Old abandoned house. Such shit listings, man. Crazy. Okay, so there's no road here. Just a little entry. That's about it. That's a no bueno. Like that.
Hey, bad listings are good for us, Dennis.
Yeah, I know, right? You can make a ton of money on a bad listing. This is no good. This looks like a nice property, just no good because there's not enough road frontage, right?
Yeah.
That's an automatic disqualifier. The wider the property, the most road frontage, the more ideal this property is going to be, right? So, hey, John, I'm thinking about running a webinar on this stuff and really focusing in on this and giving away a lot of crap. We should talk about that.
Let's do it.
All right, let's look at this. Not enough. I mean, you got here and there, but not enough like on the long end. So
Question in the chat: can you enter road frontage on Redfin search box to narrow down faster? There's no road frontage option in Redfin, but what you can do, kind of similar to what I was doing in LandWatch, is you could do the keyword search. So just type in road frontage.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be even more specific, type in like 2,000 feet road frontage, or be more specific with the number. Obviously, if you do it that way, you're going to get way less search results, but that's one way you could do it in Redfin.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I don't always do that is a lot of times these realtors suck.
Exactly.
So they're not going to put in the road frontage. So you're not going to see a property potentially. So it is an arduous process sometimes. You got to just kind of go through it and look at these properties and whatever. But once you've kind of like looked at an area, just set an alert. Anytime a property over 50 acres or whatever, 100 acres gets listed, boom, you'll get an alert. You look at the property. Maybe you have to look at one a month. There's one every couple of weeks. But if it's a deal, it's a deal.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm trying to find a good example. I don't really see anything right now. Not there. Too much. Not so much. I mean, this isn't terrible because it's got this, but this might be a smaller private road, so this might not be great.
No.
It's also got a stream that's running through it, which is not a negative attribute, but depending on where it lays, it could be.
Yeah. Now I would say more times than not, if you see a road going directly through the property, it probably is a private road, so you're not going to be able to subdivide that. So not always the case, but
yeah. Yeah, a lot of times the 10-acre exemption is only allowed on public roads. So this is nice, but they're probably asking way too much. Yeah, they're asking way too much. What are they, 40K an acre, 50K an acre? Yeah, it's crazy. They're probably going for commercial zoning based on where it is and all that stuff. 2 properties, 96 of the properties in marital trust that try to gently slope once the center line of it creek, the second track is 60 feet. Yeah. So it's a nice property, but no way they're going to ever get the 50K. That's crazy. And it's the terrible listing too. It's crazy. But yeah, guys, there's tons of like, this is something that you could do anytime. It doesn't cost you any money. It just costs you a little bit of time. So I want to keep reiterating, like, this is something anybody could do. It's not like the end of the world. It's not hard. It doesn't cost you any money. Just get out there and do it. Hop on here at night, go look at a few properties and see what comes up. I encourage anybody that wants to send leads, please send them over, but don't just send me everything. Give me something that you've already looked at, has road frontage, actually looks like it could be a deal. And ideally, you've talked to the agent and got some kind of information, because I can't sit here and look at all these deals all the time. It's just too much. My inbox from Pebble is like, I just got like 30 deals sent to me. So it's like crazy. So, which is good. I love seeing it, but it's just can't do everything, right? But yeah, guys, thank you for coming and hanging out. Matt, congrats, bro. Nice to see you there. It's gonna be awesome. And John, dude, thanks for hanging out. It's good. I like having like somebody else on here to kind of like talk through this stuff. So
yeah, we'll do it again.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Anytime. Cool, guys. I'm gonna end it for here, but John, I'll stay on. I'll talk to you. Have a good one, all. Later.